Nah, you'll never know. We keep it lit, baby. You know what I'm saying? Everyday people and celebrities. And I'm right here with retired truck driver Owen Beckles. How you doing, Owen?
I'm doing fine.
I'm doing great. Now, Owen, like I said in my monologue, you traveled the country in a big truck.
Yes, I did.
What did you deliver? What kind of goods and services did you deliver?
The last job I had, I hauled hazardous materials and just clothing, stereos. I've hauled garbage. I've hauled metal. I mean,
hazardous material.
Poisonous gas, acid, corrosives.
Did you just see that train derailment that happened here in Ohio?
I sure did.
You know what? They're making a big deal about that all in the national media. You're not hearing too much about it here in Cleveland news. You know, and be it that it happened here in Ohio, I found that kind of odd. But if you watch the national media, it's like a big thing.
But they're trying to downplay it.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
And
now.
The thing, what I heard was that they had a problem with the bearings on one of the cars.
Oh, is that right?
And if that's the case, that tells me they didn't do the proper
inspections and stuff like that.
They're supposed to inspect them things before they load them up and take off.
They had to evacuate people in there.
Yeah, I saw it.
They said it's chemicals in the soil that's going to be there for years.
They don't, it's all about money.
Yeah.
Load that train up and let it ride. If the wheels fall off, they fall off. We'll deal with it. It's true.
Yeah.
Same thing with a truck. They don't care.
So in the truck, and not only hazardous materials, you carry goods, electronics, and all of that stuff too?
Yes, clothing.
They hitting them trucks now. Y'all ain't see that? That was in the media today too. Amazon truck in broad daylight. A whole neighborhood robbed the Amazon truck. I seen the footage of it. The whole neighborhood robbed the truck. The truck pulled up. My cousins probably. It probably was them, man. It probably was them.
You talking about a tractor trailer or just regular?
No, Amazon van.
Okay.
The van, those vans that be driving around. Yeah, I think they were assaulting the guy too, and they just went in there and took the stuff. You seen the whole community. It reminded me of the riots in L.A. when they was looting the stores and coming out with all the stuff. It was crazy,
Yeah, that does.
You gonna catch a federal? I mean, come on, it's on camera. I'm looking at the footage. You think the FBI ain't gonna look into that?
That's federal time.
Yeah, that's federal time.
Messing with freight is federal time.
You probably stole a PlayStation. Now you about to do 5 or 10 years because you took a PlayStation. Were you ever worried about any of that? Like people running up on your truck or catching you at the truck stop?
Yeah, you have to be careful where you park, where you go, when you make deliveries, you have to have an idea where you're at, whether you've been there before or not. It's like I pulled up at this one place, and they had me go down this road, and I'm supposed to make a sharp left, and I'm looking, it's pitch black down there. I said, no, I'm not going down there tonight.
Yeah.
So I found me a safe place to park and said,
waited to daylight?
Yeah, I sent a message to my dispatcher, let them know what was happening. I pulled up over there and unloaded, and I asked him, I said, what time do you all shut down? He said about 4:30, because after that it's crazy. I'd have been jacked up for real down there.
Oh, you would have pulled up after hours. They could have,
Yeah, they could have got me.
So how would you take precautions? That was one way, knowing where you're going, park off to the side and stuff like that. So were you ever asleep in your cabin with product in tow?
Yeah, that's all the time.
All the time.
Either that or you're trying to get some sleep to get to the next load, which means you're empty, but generally you're loaded up and pulled over wherever.
Were you the type of truck driver that you have a companion with you?
No, didn't have time for that. There was cats that I knew that did, but
You never did it.
No, because it ain't worth it.
What? You were married too, so yeah.
Well, even before then, it wasn't worth it. I mean, shoot, number one, I ain't got no money to be laying out.
Oh, carrying somebody along with you, paying for the meals and all that type of stuff.
And then on top of that, you know, it's automatic. You're sitting there with her,
Yeah.
and you want to play house instead of drive, so that's a distraction.
Yeah.
That ain't helping nothing.
Yeah.
You know, you
So-
wind up 10 days late with the load. I'm just exaggerating, but you get what I'm saying. You're supposed to be there on time, and unless you got authorization, you're not supposed to have nobody in the truck.
How many hours can a truck driver drive before he's forced to pull over?
The way they got it now, it's like 14 maximum, but usually it's like 10.
Like 10 to 14 hours.
Yeah. You can only do so many hours in a week.
So how do they stay on top of that? Is it a log you have to keep? Or you gotta call,
Electronic.
or electronic log?
They got it now where if you move that truck 5 feet, you're logged in.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there ain't no skimping or cheating anymore. You got to be by the book.
In your truck driving career, did you drive for more than one carrier, or was it just the one carrier?
I've driven for several carriers.
Care to name any of them?
Vicom, which is the first company I started with, they had Baker Square, and I'm trying to think of another restaurant. Village Inn. Okay. I've run for J.B. Hunt. You know.
What made you want to pick up that trade and go into that field?
Well, I was trying to get paid, and I don't like
Yeah.
I don't like a boss breathing down my back. You know, they sit there with the suit on, and they got all this, that, and the other. They got the attitude. I don't want to be bothered.
Right.
Tell me what you want me to do and leave me alone, because I'm not trying to bother you unless I got a question.
Yeah.
You know, so you get the paperwork, and you map it out and ride.
So is it a hustle type thing, or are you figuring out where I'm headed in this direction so I can hook up with this product maker? Also, I already got this product in my truck. Still got room and
If you own your own truck, that's what you're trying to do. If you're a company driver, you ain't worried about.
You just got your manifest and you're doing what the
That's
manifest
right.
says.
That's right.
But if you own a truck, it's a little different. You're kind of hustling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might turn around and have a 48-foot trailer and have 12 feet that you only have loaded. You got 36 feet. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money, you know. So you pick up a couple stops or whatever, and you know, try and get to go to basically the same area. If it doesn't, you can still get paid, but you just have to figure out the mileage. The whole thing about the truck is the mileage that you get. Excuse me,
the mileage you accumulate.
The rate per mile.
Okay.
You know, if you do 1,000 miles and you're getting $500, that ain't looking good. You got to be getting, you know, in this day and age, this is about $5 or $6 a mile you need to make it. Fuel is $5. To go get an oil change is probably about $300 or $400.
You had a gas card from the company, or is it a thing you paid and you had to be reimbursed?
If you're a company driver, they give you a fuel card, but also you can get money on that card too off of your paycheck.
Oh, is that what they take it out your paycheck, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, cash back. Yeah, the cash back. Okay.
You know.
Did you travel all over the country?
41 states in Canada.
What was one or two particular states you will visit the most?
Let's see. Alabama, and
you ain't see that one little ambulance in front of that one little house when you went to Alabama, did you?
No.
Like we did when we went down there. Oh, this you in your town? Okay.
Alabama and Georgia.
Alabama and Georgia. Okay, okay. Are you a truck stop type of dude? Like you go there, you like to pull in there and rest and eat and
Yeah, rest, eat, get a shower, and keep on moving.
keep on moving? Okay, okay. So let me ask you a question now because you're here because because of your employment, like everybody would do, they want a fallback plan. They want to get insurance and things of that nature in
Right.
case something happened to them and their livelihood, they can still take care of themselves. Was that your intention when going out and getting insurance?
Yes, it was.
What kind of insurance was it?
Long-term disability through the Hartford Insurance Company.
Long-term disability through the Hartford Insurance Company. So what would they cover? What would they supposed to cover if the unfortunate happened?
If I got disabled, like right now I've got a pacemaker and defibrillator, I'm not supposed to work. I have worked, but I'm not supposed to.
Does that qualify for disability when you have I'm just asking a question.
Yeah, that qualifies.
Yeah, I would think
Social
so.
Security pays.
Yeah, I would think a pacemaker. I would think so.
Pacemaker and defibrillator. Don't forget the other one.
And a defibrillator. Let me ask you a question. What had caused you to have to take on a pacemaker and a defibrillator in the first place?
Well, basically, the doctor said I had a weak heart and I had AFib.
AFib?
Atrial fibrillation.
Okay.
And
That's when your arteries clog up or something like
no, it's when your heart's not beating regular.
that? Oh, a regular heartbeat.
A regular heartbeat, yes.
Now, did you have that all your life?
No, because if I had that all my life, I wouldn't have been able to drive a truck.
Well, so at some point in time, you developed that.
Yes.
Where do you think it came from?
Working hard along.
Working hard all along?
Working hard and long.
Working hard
That
and
too.
long. But Owen, working hard, okay, I can understand the long. Is there anything else besides trucking? Because in trucking, you're sitting there and you're driving.
Well, let's see here. You think it's that simple, but I put you
Tell me.
behind the wheel, and you got to turn around and come down here, and they give you the directions how to get to your place, but they don't tell you that there's a low bridge here that's 12.6, you're 13.6. How do you get past it?
Yep, so you have to find an alternate route.
If there is one.
If there is one. Wow. Yeah.
And sometimes they give you the wrong address, or they'll give you a place, and it'll be like, okay, XYZ Corporation, but actually somebody else, most people call it, let's say, Big E's place. I'm just throwing a name out there, and you're looking for a sign that says Big E because nobody told you
Yeah.
that that's what it is.
Yeah.
And you might get in the area, you might ride past that 4 or 5 times, and then
Realize that that's the place.
yeah, you have to go and ask. It's just like one time I went where I was with J.B. Hunt, and they gave me a load of Dolly Madison cakes, I think it was.
Wait a minute. How would you know that? On the manifest? Or
It's on the manifest
Okay,
because
okay.
it's got the address, and they tell you pretty much what you're hauling.
Okay. So it's not a secret.
There's certain things that are secret, but
Oh, so there is such a thing where they'll have you pushing the load and you don't know what it is.
exactly.
Oh.
But that's like high security stuff, though.
So when that happens, what, they send security out with you?
Yeah, they send security out with
So
you.
you had so you've been on the road and security had to ride with you in your truck?
No, I've never had those type of loads except for electronics, but they don't ride with you. They monitor you through
Electronic, yeah.
through
GPS.
electronically.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going off route. Why?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah. So how far along into trucking in your career were you before you picked up the insurance?
I was with this company 4 months, and I just started with them. As I said, I've been with them 4 months, and I was going for the benefits and everything, the hospitalization, the dental, the long and short term disability, because I never knew what could happen.
Yeah.
I just bought a house and got all settled in,
and at that time you didn't have no problems and you didn't recognize
not
there
that
was
I
regular
know,
heartbeat.
because when they gave me the physical, I mean they checked you out. They had you lift and pull and run, and
Who, the company did that you
the
ended up working
company,
for?
yeah, they made
So they gave you a
taking it.
strenuous workout and pre-workout before you started working.
Yeah, you had to take a physical and pass a drug test. That's standard procedure.
Okay, hold that thought on. We're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back in a minute.
Okay.
Playa T, that's me, Hollywood in the hood. You couldn't understand nothing, huh?
Tell them who fought that wood.
Yeah, that was my fault.
They be trying to hit me up.
No, it ain't. No, it's strictly my fault, y'all. So if you thought I was Chinese, I'm not from China. You know what I'm saying? I'm not from where the Wuhan virus came from. But we back right now, and I'm sitting right here with retired truck driver Owen Beckles.
Yeah.
And Owen is a returning guest.
Yeah.
And during his employment time of driving trucks, at some point he sought the help of Hartford Insurance for
Correct.
long-term disability.
Right.
And you says long-term disability you thought would cover anything that would cause you to be disabled
Right.
in the future going forward. So that's why you wanted to get that benefit.
Exactly.
Now let me ask you something. Had you heard of Hartford before then, or how did it come about that you chose Hartford? Because there's a number of insurance companies that would have insured you.
Well, this was through my job. This is
Oh,
what
it was
they
already, it's what they offered.
what they offered, so I was like, okay.
You know what? A young lady seen the promotion for this, and she hit us up and said she was going to tune in and watch because she says at her job, Hartford is the insurance at her job, and she want to know all about that to make sure she don't have this.
Good. I'll tell her, believe me.
So the job, you were 4 months into this carrier,
Right.
and they offered you Hartford Insurance. Had you heard of Hartford before they?
Yes.
So what was your opinion of Hartford before you start actually dealing
I
with it?
didn't really do any research, but I knew that they were a big company.
You knew they were a big company. You had heard of their name for years.
And I figured, I'd be okay.
You figured you'd be okay because you figured they had a reputable name.
But more so, the company that I was with.
You were
they
trusting the
offered it.
company.
Exactly.
See, that's a valuable lesson right there, you know. They might offer you insurance, but if you don't do your own research, you might have to make other moves besides that.
That's true.
I had learned something about that. They be using that as like a tax write-off for real. They don't really.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, they just use it so they can.
Yeah. So they'll go with the cheapest plans, the cheapest, whatever, and use that as a tax write-off. Okay. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Their relationships and stuff like that. Okay, so you figured they had a reputable name. You thought it was okay. You didn't read any of the paperwork they gave you.
Well, I mean, you're sitting there in orientation. They explain everything to you.
They just didn't explain that there's a slight chance we might not cover what you got going on.
No, they covered it, but they didn't want to pay like they was
They
supposed
covered it. It was in their plan, but they didn't pay for your medical bills and services.
They took 2 years to get one check. Then after that,
Oh, so they did give you one check.
they gave me two. But listen, took 2 years for the first check.
2 years.
Yes.
What did you file? Was it the fact that you had a heart pacer and a defibrillator?
Right.
So that was the paperwork you filed. You say, hey, I need some help. I'm a little disabled right now. I got a pacemaker and a heart defibrillator.
Right. And then it took another year after me getting the first check to get another one, and then they said, we're not giving you nothing. You are physically capable of working. Social Security said that if I was to drive 20 minutes to work, it wasn't a good idea. For me to work an 8-hour job wasn't a good idea.
Wow. What the first check that took 2 years to get to you in that time you owed it creditors.
Owed creditors, owed the lawyer.
How were you able to fend them off for 2 years before you got the check?
You just act. You just have to just go.
You didn't
on
answer
with
no
life.
calls.
That's it.
Yeah, you didn't
That's
answer no
it.
calls. You didn't do no reply mail. You know, you didn't go out much.
The guy we were buying the house from was highly upset, though. He was highly upset because I couldn't pay him. My wife was the only one working.
Right. Oh, so in the midst of everything, you had just bought a house?
I had just bought a house. I think we'd been in that house maybe 3 weeks.
Wow. So hold on. Let me get this straight. So this all happened in the span of time. You had to get the pacemaker and the heart defibrillator.
Right.
And you just bought this place and hadn't been in it long.
Right.
And all this stuff came crashing down on you at one time?
Exactly.
Wow, that's tough. What's your wife's name?
Diane, God rest her soul.
Yeah. Now, she was really upbeat about you all moving into your new home.
Of course, you know how that goes.
The American dream.
I turn around and I'm on the road. We live down the street. She found this place. You know how they look it up and do their research. They're like, come on. So,
Owen, I found this really great place. You're going to love it.
And it was nice. It was in a nice area, quiet and peaceful, big yard for the kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Had to give it all up. We were there about maybe a year and a half.
So hold on. So 4 months into the job is when you start having heart issues?
Yes.
Yeah. So here it is. You're looking forward. You just got a new home. You and your wife happy, you know. And you figure like, yeah, you know, you're looking forward to the twilight years.
Exactly.
And then you get sick and you go in the hospital. At this time, what was your wife saying to you?
My wife was like, wow. You know, I mean, she just hung in there with me. But it's
hung in there with you?
Yeah, I mean, till death do us part.
She was a real one. Didn't bicker with you about it?
She was upset, but there was nothing that could be done. I mean, you know, the doctor told me, look, you can't work.
Let me ask you a real question, Owen. At that moment, did you feel less than Laura as a man? Here it is, you're this proud man taking care of your wife. You know, you just bought this home and then this stuff happens. Did that lower your self-esteem?
Yeah, it's embarrassing. I had a 9-year-old son. Daddy, can I have a quarter? And you reach, you know, you like, go to your mama because I ain't got it.
Yeah. That's how did you keep your spirits up?
I don't even know about keeping my spirits up. I just took each day as it came and did what I had to do. You know, wasn't no, what I want to say. I wasn't happy at that point, especially when I had to do all that waiting.
Now, your wife eventually went into a nursing home, and I hope you didn't mind me bringing that up.
That's fine.
But let me ask you another real question, because you didn't mention nothing about her health deteriorating during this time. Was her health deteriorating?
Not at that time, but later on it was.
Later on?
And that check that I was supposed to be getting.
The first one or the second one, or the one you never got?
The ones that I never got. You got to understand something. I was supposed to be getting paid till the year 2030, my 65th birthday.
Wow.
They owe me right now about what? It's 5, 7. They owe me about 19 years of money. About 18, 19 years of money.
Okay.
back money.
So let me revisit a little bit. You said the first check, it took 2 years to get. Then you got another check a year after that.
And they paid me a total of about 13 or 14 months total out of all this time.
And that didn't do nothing, but it was a drop in the bucket. You had to catch up on bills that were due.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
Plus pay a lawyer.
Plus play, because now you need legal recourse. If you don't mind, what did your wife get? Why did she have to go into a nursing home?
She had MS.
Muscular
sclerosis.
Muscular sclerosis. That's when
or multiple sclerosis.
Multiple sclerosis. And how did that affect her?
It affected her because she became bedridden, and she had, somebody had to be there to care for her. She could feed herself and things like that most of the time, but there were times where she couldn't.
What kept you from being depressed, or were you depressed? I mean, you're going through things, your wife is going through things, she's bedridden, All
it
this
was
is
hard, the whole deal for this whole time. Mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially. Excuse my language, but it kicked me in the ass.
Yeah. So you started reaching out to Hartford about your issues.
Yeah, I sent Christopher J. Swift a certified letter.
Christopher J. Swift, that's the CEO?
Yes.
Christopher, listen up, man. You got a disgruntled person here, man, with a real story, He called you the first time and you talked to him and you were kind of arrogant. Did you feel like
I didn't call him. I wrote him.
You wrote him.
And when he got the letter...
You wrote him a certified letter at that,
yes. Right? I sent him a certified letter. And he said to me in reply, "We are sticking with our decision and you may legally pursue if you wish."
So that tells me he was really arrogant about his position and he felt that you didn't have no wins.
Exactly.
Wow. I mean, that's tough. That's really tough. And he figured like he straightened you out already with 2 checks within 3 years.
They don't care. They do what they want to do. That's what really makes me mad. We're voting to put these politicians in, and they're selling us down the river.
Did you reach out to your local politicians?
What was the lady's name who's head of HUD now?
I forget. Dag, I'm supposed to know that too, and I did know that. Yeah. Oh, you reached out to somebody in HUD?
No. I reached out to her. She was the congresswoman.
Okay.
Okay, for my area.
Did you get a reply?
Yeah. Her assistant, "We can't do anything," in a nervous voice. I said, "What?"
Oh, you talked to him on the phone?
Yeah. I said, "What?"
We can't do, in a nervous voice. She sounded nervous?
Yes.
Her assistant?
Her assistant.
That is tough. So what were your lawyers saying? Because now you got a lawyer. What was the lawyer saying?
The lawyer's like, "Well,
I need more money.
Exactly.
I can do it from this angle, but I can come from this angle, but I need a little bit more money."
No, I need $25,000 to $50,000 retainer to go back and appeal these people.
Oh, wow. And that's just to appeal. That's no guarantee that you're going to get any, satisfaction out of that.
And see, the problem is there's a 2-year statute limitation.
Wow. So you ran up against that obstacle.
I ran up against that obstacle. And then you keep trying, you keep talking to people and trying to, see what can be done. And I mean, to tell you the truth, there were times I was in, tight financial situations, and all I could think about was Hartford and taking Christopher J. Swift and smacking his head against a concrete wall. Please do me a favor. Please don't edit that, because I don't care if he knows.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you feel, you know?
Yeah. Anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I lost over $600,000 between the benefits and the two homes.
So you lost 2 homes.
2 homes.
That's tough. You lost a vehicle?
No, but we was riding around in whatever we could get, you know.
So now your wife is at the nursing home and you're visiting her every so often?
That's years later, though. But yeah, she was at the nursing home for a while. Then she'd come back home. It was all about.
Well, I say
rehab.
that in perspective, to give people perspective on how long you've been fighting this fight.
Yeah, okay.
And what you've been going through while you've been fighting this fight.
And then I had to fight to keep her alive.
What do you mean by that?
In other words, her last 6 months, she was like seriously ill, and I had to get her to Cleveland Clinic. They did a wonderful job, but unfortunately, the doctor said there's nothing more that we could do.
Was she on life support?
No, she wasn't on life support. She was in ICU, though, for a while and came out. See, God works in mysterious ways. He was pulling her out. She was getting better. I was feeling good. And then all of a sudden, the doctors are like, look, we can't do anymore. And
see, that type of stuff just make you distrust people, man.
No. Let me explain something to you. And I'm going to call them out. University Hospital Parma. Can I be raw? They ain't shit. The doctors, true story. I said, I've been with this woman over 20-some years. I know that there's something wrong. And they're like, well, maybe that's her new norm. I said, no, it ain't. I've been around her. I've seen her pull out. So they're like telling me, if we don't see nothing, we can't do nothing. Doctors don't say that. I took her to Cleveland Clinic. They said, okay. And they started checking her out and, doing blood work and x-rays and all that. They found what was going on.
I mean, they like the 4th biggest hospital in the world. They got a great reputation.
Exactly. And they came through. They did all they could. They treated her well. I have no complaints. But I'll tell you right now, if you're ever sick in Parma, get yourself stabilized and go to another hospital.
Well, you were telling me candidly something about you wanted her transferred from one particular place to another, and a private ambulance company came to pick her up on the behest of the nursing home.
Donald Martins. They decided they were going to do what they wanted to do. I told the people at the nursing home where I wanted her to go.
Why did you want the change? You felt like that nursing home?
No, it wasn't about a nursing home. It was about medical care, hospital care. Okay. And I told them that I wanted her taken to Hillcrest Hospital. These drivers come and they're like, well, we only do Parma. Okay, so they took her to Parma against what we told them. Then on top of that, they're making up lies in their boss lie. Man, I was livid. I'm sitting up there in Hillcrest Hospital, and she is in Parma. I don't have a car at the time, so I got to get in an Uber. So I was paying. Went all the way down there and had to deal with her. Got things straightened out with her. And it's like, are you for real? I talked to the dispatcher, and the dispatcher said, I don't know what happened. I'll connect you with my boss tomorrow, because this was like 1 o'clock in the morning. So I talked to somebody. It's supposed to be the head of all the drivers, and he's telling me all this, that, and the other. He lied. Basically, what they were saying was that, excuse me, my wife, her blood pressure was low and her heart rate was high. They said it was an emergency situation, so that's why they took her to Parma. I got in an Uber about maybe a few weeks later, and this girl said, I used to work with all these different ambulance companies, and said that Donald Martin is horrible.
Wow.
They turn around, they have changed their name.
Wow.
To keep from to avoid the lawsuits. It's just a mess.
Wait a minute, something else you told me. You said Hartford Insurance changed their mission statement after dealing with you.
Yes, they did.
Go into that a little bit.
When I was on the show the last time, I read the mission statement word for word. Couple of weeks later, I got on, and that mission statement was changed.
Wow.
Well, if you go back to the video that we did and it's on YouTube and listen to it,
yeah,
and then go and look for their mission statement, they don't match.
So it seems like they seen your interview and tried to cover their butt a little bit. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah, crooked,
so
corrupt.
So what would you like to see happen going forward? You got the mic, you got the airtime, you got their CEO watching and listening.
Christopher J. Swift, you owe me an exorbitant amount of money, and it's more than the rate that you're supposed to pay. I want millions. I want to break the bank of that company, because y'all need to learn not to fuck with people.
That's right, yeah. That's what
You know what I'm saying? I mean, excuse me, America, but I'm telling it like it is. That some bitch needs his ass kicked. That's how pissed off I am. I told the lawyers, because I was trying to get, some people together to help me. I told them all, I said, look, if I go into this office with this man and he says the wrong thing, I'm jumping across the table.
Now, I know you got to go on. What's been your biggest obstacle to aligning, making alliances and having people support you and you go into these places in mass voice? What's been your biggest obstacle?
The biggest obstacle is people that are willing to stand behind what I'm wanting. I want money. I want real money. I don't want nickels and dimes. They're like, well, if you get $500,000, you're fine. No, I'm not.
Yeah, I kind of asked you that candidly before we went on.
19 years,
you
going
were adamant
on 20
that,
years.
You were adamant that no, you're not looking for the quick settlement.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I want the real money because, look, if you were in my situation and you had to wait 19 years to get justice.
Did they blame it on, well, they did pay you twice, but did they blame it on preconditions why they stopped paying you?
No.
What was the reasoning?
They just said I was physically capable of working.
After doctors told you that you couldn't even drive for 20 minutes.
It wasn't safe for me to drive 20 minutes, and it wasn't safe for me to
do you have
work
that,
8-hour shift.
Is that expressed by the doctor? Do you have that in writing?
That's through Social Security when I went to the hearing to go get my...
Well, I guess what I'm saying is, do you have anything to show that they're saying this?
I don't have it per se, but I was there, and the court reporters got it.
Yeah, that's dope. Well, man, I appreciate you, and good luck with that. And
Thank
everybody
you.
out there watching, I encourage you that if you know anybody that's been through what Mr. Beckles is going through, or if you can empathize with Mr. Beckles, to share his interview when it's go up. Share it. Send it to those people. Talk to representatives that can help Mr. Beckles, or if anybody out there watching this that can lend any kind of recourse to Owen, please do that, because great man, stand up man. It doesn't sound like, you're hurt behind what happened, but it doesn't sound like you've given up about anything. You didn't say you wanted to go shoot anybody in the offices. You did say, hey, if we in the same place, and if he say something wrong, I might smack him. But you didn't off the jump say what you want to do to somebody. So that tells me that, you're a businessman at heart, and you just want things to be settled in the right way, right?
Yes. Can I say one thing?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Joanne Jenkins, you realize that you're doing business with a bunch of people that don't care about doing the right thing. Their reputation's on, but yours is too. I'd think about it if I were you.
Now, who is Joanne Jenkins?
She's the big wheel for AARP.
That's like a middleman to your benefits?
That's for like people who are over, 55, 60, and you go and you have special things that you want, like hotel benefits, car rental benefits, insurances of
and they make
types.
Sure you get those type of things.
Yeah, because of your age. It's a group. You never heard of AARP?
Yeah, I have, but I'm I'm really not trying to think about that right now. But I guess I have to, and
That's
I appreciate that.
That's what they do.
Okay.
And Joanne Jenkins is a sister.
Okay.
So I'm letting you know, Joanne. You better watch, because you might have some dissatisfied customers.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you, Owen, for coming on and telling your truth, man, and being as truthful as you can be about your situation. I want to thank everybody around the world for tuning in, watching this live stream. I want to thank the Coleman family. I didn't get to thank them in the beginning, for allowing us this space and a platform to, talk about our stories, our products, goods and services, our businesses and things like that. So big shout out to the Coleman family. Playa T, that's me, Hollywood in the hood. Yeah. Here I am. I'm gonna take some pictures for you. Sure. Not